Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Avisk. Welcome back to our episode. Today we're going to talk about a few tips for Arsenal, or better said, on how to get better at Arsenal. And yeah, let's just start with the settings. So this is very important. You need to find what settings are best for your computer so you don't have any lag and you get around 60 FPS, like stable FPS, not that they keep dropping down and stuff. And therefore you can either lower the Roblox settings or go to the Arsenal settings where you can disable shadows as an example, and other stuff as well that is very expensive. You can see it's shown right there. Alright guys, so let's move on to the next tip right here, which is the camera sensitivity, and this is very important. You need to find the perfect camera sensitivity so you can kind of flick around on short distances, because if you get attacked from the back, you want to turn around as quickly as possible so you can react and defend yourself, of course. And you also want to be able to be pretty precise on long range distances so you can hit headshots and stuff like that, but you want to be very precise, and that's why you shouldn't make the sensitivity too high or too low, because on short ranges you need to react quickly and on long ranges you need to be very precise, so you need to keep that in mind. I'm currently using 1600 DPI on my mouse and the camera sensitivity of 0.15 on Roblox. And yeah, let's move on to the next tip. Alright, so the next tip is also kind of important. You need to go to the settings and change your crosshair color, I would say, because it's quite important to know that some colors are very common on Arsenal maps. Like, as an example, if you would make a white or black crosshair right now, might not be the best idea. You want to take vibrant colors that are not on the maps, because you need to actually see where your crosshair is, and on some maps it might happen actually, if you have the wrong crosshair color, that your crosshair kind of disappears for you. And that's why I can recommend, as an example, like a pink, because that one is not that common. Red as well, I'm mostly using the red, or as well as like a purple or like dark colors. Green is pretty common. You could also use like a turquoise or cyan, whatever you want to call that. And yeah, so that's very important. Alright guys, so now we're going to take a look at a few weapons that I'm going to showcase you step by step. I have no clue if I'm going to put them in a specific order, but yeah, let's take a look at those. Alright guys, so the first weapon category we're going to take a look at is the sniping rifle category. And one important thing you need to know about sniping rifles is that as soon as you have them out, you lose your crosshair, and there's two modes on how you could use them, one by scoping or one by no scoping. And I recommend you to no scope for some weapon categories, and therefore you need to know where your crosshair is located at, because as an example, close range fights you rather want to no scope. And that is actually quite important in my opinion. So let's try to, well, get the kill on long range, of course, that doesn't really matter. And another very important thing you need to know about sniping rifles is each sniping rifle deals different kind of damage. So as an example, the one we just had, one shots on the body, so you don't need to go for headshots as an example. Same for the AWP, which also one shots on any body part, I think. And then there's the scout rifles, which do not one-shot, so you need to take that into consideration. Now we have another weapon category, by the way, right here, so I don't need to pause the video. And therefore we need to regen some health or just die. It doesn't really matter. We don't win this round because I'm just showcasing you the weapons. Alright, so this is a firework launcher. And what you can do with all kind of well, rocket launchers is you can rocket jump, and therefore you have to jump, then shoot, and well, then you see you kind of flying right there, and that's quite useful for especially weapons that are not that useful. Now we have another sniping rifle with a crosshair right there. That one is quite useful. And this one, as an example, one shots on close ranges into the body, but on long range it deals around 68 damage, I think. So yeah, very important that you learn how your weapons work and how much damage they deal. Alright guys, so now we have a weapon with a special ability called the lever shotgun, and what you need to know about this weapon is you have the double jump ability, and you can actually use this to your advantage by kind of parkouring around and yeah, then get your kills like that. And this is a pretty useful technique that you can use. And there's a second weapon, I think, called the Spencer Carabine, as far as I'm concerned, so very important. Alright guys, so now we have a different sniping rifle. As you can see, we have this kind of scout rifle. And yeah, as I said, you can either scope or just go for no scopes in close range. And we're probably not going to get that guy right there. So yeah, as I said, we're not focusing that much on the gameplay. But with this one, I recommend actually trying to no scope. I'm just not doing that good right now. And yeah, let's just move on to the next weapon. Alright guys, so now we're going to take a look at, well, another weapon category, and I'm not going to go in full detail about this one. We have pistols, and again, pretty much every pistol performs differently. This one is, well, pretty okay on short range distances and mid range distances. And then we had another, yeah, sniping rifle. You could see, because it was long range, I just went for the scope instead of the no scope. But you could have went for a no-scope, of course, as well. If you remember, of course, well, where your crosshair is. And I sometimes struggle still with that because I'm not the best with no-scopes. But yeah, I guess we're just gonna move on to the next weapon category right now. Alright, so another weapon category is in this case shotguns. And there's a few shotguns as I showed earlier. Oh wait, I haven't showed one of them yet. But the double barrel shotguns are a bit different to this one. Well, this one I'm mostly just spam. And there we go, we have now a double barrel shotgun. And this one also has kind of a special ability. You can shotgun jump with this weapon. And that's quite useful. You can either jump first and then shoot, or just shoot. Oh, no, you have to jump first, okay. With the smaller, or better said, the sort of version, you can just pretty much shoot and then you lift off, I guess. And yeah, very important to know about this weapon, the damage is actually quite insane. You can see on all ranges it's pretty much one-shots. And you don't even have to go for the head as far as I'm concerned. So, pretty good weapon. And if you know those kind of aspects about each weapon, that's quite useful for you and you can definitely use that to your advantage. Now we have a bad pistol actually, the Glock 17. Really not that good. Deals less damage than most other pistols, I think. And yeah, it's just not a good weapon. Alright, now we have another sniping rifle, and for this one I really like to just go for the no-scopes. But well, our teammate just got the kill. So let's try to go for a no-scope right here, and there you go. Now we have a very bad weapon as well, kinda the musket. This one takes ages to reload, so you definitely need to be very precise about your shots. And there we got killed by this, I would call him tryhard. Anyways, so there you go. Musket, it doesn't matter where you hit, it one-shots anyways. Quite important to know. Right here we have another weapon category, the concussion rifle. With this one you can do the same thing as with the rocket launchers. You can rocket jump, just jump, then shoot, and you're gonna take off. And it's pretty useful because you can do some very cool stunts, I guess, with that. And yeah, there you had the bow, by the way, the new crossbow that was added. That one is not that good, I can definitely tell you that. Alright, so we're just gonna wait a bit until we get the next weapon, hopefully very, very soon. Because there's a few weapons I definitely wanted to showcase as well. As an example, we still have to showcase the bow. I really hope I can get those, because there is a weapon that you can actually charge. And the longer you charge them, the more damage they deal, and that's quite useful, especially if you have the time to charge them. And now we have another rocket launcher. You can see you can do the same thing again, just rocket jump. And that can definitely be something that you can use to your advantage. As you can see right there, we just got him, killed him from above. And now we have a weapon that is actually quite difficult to play for new players. You could either aim for the head or just do some body shots. Now you have 8 bullets. That weapon was actually buffed a while ago, so quite useful. But I mostly prefer to go for headshots. And now we have a weapon where you could double jump again, the Spencer rifle, the one I talked earlier about. And yeah, now we have another weapon, the railgun as an example. This one, you can actually kill multiple enemies with one shot with, because it pierces through the enemies. And now we have an interesting weapon. So with the crossbow, bow, and everything that has like this kind of projectile, you need to kind of predict where your enemy is going. So as an example, you know he's going to be there, so you have to just aim a bit where he would probably go, which probably did not make sense. As I said, you kind of have to predict where they are going. Alright, now we have a weapon that is, well, pretty interesting. Okay, pretty interesting overall. And with the golden gun, you just need to practice, same with the musket. Because, well, one shot and then you have to reload for quite a long time. And there we got killed right there. Rest in pieces. Maybe we can get actually one win. Would be quite interesting. I wasn't expecting to actually win one round, but yeah, we just go ahead and try to get that. But there is this guy again. I think he's really trying right now, and I'm just recording the video and casually play in the background. Anyway, so very important with the knife, you can double jump. They, I think, changed that in a previous update at one point. With the health packs, you kind of need to like sneak into them to kind of get them. Quite interesting for you to know, maybe, especially for newer players. And I think Hydra might get the win right here. I really hope for him he's going to get the win. Well, never mind, we got the win. Pretty interesting. And yeah, good game. Let's move on to the next round, and hopefully I can showcase some more weapons. Okay, so something I just realized I totally forgot to talk about is actually the spawning. So each map has kind of like a fixed spawn, and you can kind of abuse that. But there are some factors that you need to take into consideration with that. As an example, as soon as your team gets too close, I think, to the spawns are kind of rotating. At least that's what I've kind of noticed. So yeah, if your team is not really abusing the spawns, well, then it's also not that easy for you. Because, well, the spawns kind of rotate after a while, and pretty interesting to just say that. And yeah, let's just hope... Oh, there we got a weapon. Double barrel shotgun, or DB shotgun, this sort of version. And with that one, as I said, you can just shoot, and then you kind of lift off, whatever you want to call it. And we just got kind of hit, even though we were behind the wall. Interesting. Anyways, by the way, if you wonder where my textures are, I've made a tutorial. Link is in the description down below. This increases the FPS, at least for me, by a lot actually when I'm recording, and that's pretty good. So if you have FPS problems, you can just do that. The tutorial is definitely linked and probably pinned as well. And yeah. Maybe another important thing I should say is about these kind of weapons, the kind of carabines from the game. The best you can play them is kind of tap fire them and try to go for headshots. With some of them it's not as easy. The M1 Garand is pretty good for that. I'm not a huge fan of this one though. So yeah. Just wanted to let you know about these. Now we have the new crossbow, and I'm really not a huge fan of that. You could try to actually scope with it, but then there's the kind of drop down of the arrows, or you just try to predict where the enemies are spawning. And look at that, we got 2 kills with the new crossbow, which is fairly good. And now we have another weapon that I'm not a huge fan of. And pretty much what I can just tell you guys, just play the game. This is the most important thing I can say, just play the game. I'm gonna tell you a little story right here. When I started playing Arsenal for the first time with my friend, I got the first win at like 1,000 kills in total, and it took me so long to get my first win, and it took really, really long because I was so terrible at the game actually. And yeah, I started trying to actually learn how each weapon worked, and that really helped me a lot, and that's what I'm trying to kind of help you with this video. I'm trying to teach you some things that you might know about certain weapons if you have not played the game for that long. Some of them, as I said, have some special abilities. Some of them have some techniques or some pretty much tactics that you could use to improve how they overall work. And well, some of them you just need to kind of get through. As an example, that crossbow is absolutely terrible. I just got very lucky, and that sometimes happens as well. But yeah, we're currently again in the #1 spot, which is fairly interesting. I'm not really focused on the gameplay right now, as I said, and I don't really mind if we lose or not right now, because this is just to kind of showcase you how some weapons actually work and how you can use them to your advantage. And there you saw we just went for the no scope instead with the Barrett. Even though the Barrett is not even that bad when you scope in with it. You could see long range, of course. We're gonna go for the snipe right there while scoping in, and there we go. All we need to do now is just get the knife kill. Should not take too long, I would say. Well, Hydra just killed us. Okay guys, now I have another weapon, a charging weapon, in this case the bow. So for that one, again, same thing for the crossbow. You kind of have to predict where your enemies are going. It's not the best weapon. You can charge it and it deals more damage, but yeah, it's not easy to play. Just wanted to show you that one. Alright guys, so something that I actually forgot about earlier is something kind of important, and I recommend this. It's actually called auto reload. It automatically reloads for you, and that's quite important in my opinion, because sometimes I would just forget about reloading, and this definitely helped me a lot. So yeah, you can enable it by go to settings, control, and then just enable it right there. And I would say it's pretty interesting. I hope this video helped you a bit. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe. If you have more questions, I might make a second video. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.